Namaste, angels. This will be our weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, May 27th through Saturday, June 2nd. And literally right before I started this video, I realized another reason why we've been seeing all this Sagittarius energy. It's the full moon in Sagittarius this week. As soon as it came into my head and I said, oh, I got to look up the full moon and see where it is. Because I just had this like revelation that it was in Sagittarius, or this vision. And sure enough, it is. And I think it was 8 degrees Sagittarius. Pretty sure, because the 8 also stood out to me, because all day today, Friday, May 25th, I've been shown 8s. And at 8 o'clock, my battery was at like 88%, and it was 85 degrees, and something else was 8. It was like all over my phone. And I didn't ignore it. I took note, but I didn't take any particular note of it. I looked at it and I acknowledged all the 8s and everything. And I have been seeing them all day, like I said. And then I was in the middle of something when 8:08 came around. But I was made to look again, saw that. And I said, fine, let me post it. Let me share it for the other people. That by then my battery was at 85%. It was 8:08 and 85 degrees. Like, a whole bunch of things were matching up. So I said, okay, let me share this one. I got into, some work or something again. And then 50 minutes later, at 8:58, my phone had updated again. It was still 85 degrees. I was at 85% somehow again, 50 minutes later. And 8:58, 85 degrees, 85%. It was just like all these repeating numbers over and over and over. So I also, I posted that one too. And I said, by the way, 8:58 means, positive changes in the areas of finance, career, right? Money and stuff. Big things coming, which makes sense. 8 is a karmic number. It's very much, very much Jupiter. And then I let it go, and I sat here, and it was like a light bulb went off. One of these revelations, like bing. The full moon is in Sagittarius. That's what all the Jupiter stuff is about. I mean, we had a lot of Jupiter activity, the 2 major transits this week. So it was that too. But like Sagittarius, the energy of Sagittarius has been like the outcome for some of my spreads and stuff. And it just hadn't clicked to me. So now it has. So that may come up in a big way here. Also, with that moon, 2 major stars, Aldebaran and Antares, are also like opposing. Sagittarius and Gemini are like mirror opposite, signs. That's why we get along very well together, Sagittarians and Geminis, because we're like perfect polar opposites. One, Sagittarius is going to be, or the full moon is going to be sitting sort of next to the star Antares, which is going to be 10 degrees Sagittarius, and directly right in the like the heart of the Scorpion, and then opposing it, like on its opposite side, 10 degrees Aldebaran, Gemini, like right there upon Aldebaran, which is like in the eye of the bull. So this should be very, very interesting. I haven't figured out what it all means yet. Because like I said, it just went ding a little while ago. Not that I didn't know when the full moon was. I've mentioned it in other readings and stuff, but it just never clicked like that. So anyway, that has happened, and we'll be keeping a lookout for that. Let me get on to what else is going on this week. So as relates to the celestial system, other than that, on May 27th, the first day for which this reading is, at 12:51 a.m., Saturn quincux the true node. So that'll be Leo. May 29th, again at 10:19 a.m., full moon, 8 degrees Sagittarius. Also, on May 29th at 7:49 p.m., Mercury enters Gemini. Mercury, which rules Gemini along with Venus, enters Gemini. And that's it for the celestial. Going to the Christian calendar, there's nothing on the Jewish calendar. Going to the Christian one, well, other than the month of Sivan, that's for the Jewish calendar. We continue that. Similar to on the Islamic calendar, we continue with the month of Ramadan, but there's no other particular holidays. But on the Christian calendar, on the 27th is the feast day of the Holy Trinity. And then on the 31st is the visitation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Also, that's one. And what the visitation of the Blessed Virgin Mary is, it's when she was visited upon by the angel Gabriel to tell her that she would have a son or baby. But also on the same day, May 31st, is celebrated Body and Blood of Christ. So it's another part of that whole season that I went over last week, beginning with the resurrection that I was calling like Pentecost season or Easter season. The resurrection, the ascension, Pentecost, and now Body and Blood of Christ, also part of that. So let's get into those, beginning with the Feast of the Holy Trinity. I'm going to read from Encyclopedia Britannica. It's www.britannica.com/topic/feast-of-the-holy-trinity. Feast of the Holy Trinity, also called Trinity Sunday, is a feast in honor of the Trinity. It's celebrated in the Christian churches on Sunday following the Pentecost, which is the 50th day of Easter or after Easter. It is known that the feast was celebrated on this day from as early as the 10th century. Celebration of the feast gradually spread to churches of Northern Europe, and in 1334, Pope John the 22nd approved it for the entire church. In the liturgical church year, Anglican and Lutheran churches date the Sundays that follow Trinity, quote unquote, after Trinity. The Roman liturgy dates these Sundays, quote unquote, after Pentecost. And if you want to read further, you can do so there, or I'm sure you can find plenty of information on the Holy Trinity in other places. I'm going to move to the 31st and the visitation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And for this one, I'm going to www.franciscanmedia.org/visitation. This is a fairy tale like feast going back only to the 13th, of course the 13th is associated with Mary, or the 14th century they throw in there. It was established widely throughout the church to pray for unity. The present date of the celebration was set in 1969 in order to follow the Annunciation of the Lord and to precede the Nativity of St. John the Baptist. Like most feasts of Mary, it is closely connected with Jesus and his saving work. The more visible actors in the visitation drama, see Luke 139 through 45 rather. And there you'll see Mary and Elizabeth. However, Jesus and John the Baptist steal the scene in a hidden way. Jesus makes John leap with joy, the joy of messianic salvation in his mother's stomach. They mean Elizabeth. Elizabeth, in turn, is filled with the Holy Spirit and addresses words of praise to Mary, words that echo down through the ages. It is helpful to recall that we do not have a journalist's account of this meeting. Rather, Luke, speaking for the church, gives a prayerful poet's rendition of the scene. Elizabeth's praise of Mary as, quote, the mother of my Lord, can be viewed as the earliest church's devotion to Mary. As with all authentic devotion to Mary, Elizabeth's and the church's, therefore, words first praise God for what God has done to Mary. Only secondly does she praise Mary for trusting in God's words. Then comes the Magnificat, Luke 1:46 through 55. Here, Mary herself, like the church, traces all her greatness to God. One of the invocations in Mary's litany is, quote unquote, the Ark of the Covenant. Like the Ark of the Covenant of old, Mary brings God's presence into the lives of other people. As David danced before the ark, John the Baptist leaps for joy. As the ark helped to unite the 12 tribes of Israel by being placed in David's capital, so Mary has the power to unite all Christians in her Son. At times, devotion to Mary may have occasioned some divisiveness, but we can hope that authentic devotion will lead all to Christ and therefore to one another. And the Feast of the Body and Blood of Christ, also known as Corpus Christi. The Feast of Corpus Christi, which in Latin means Body of Christ, is the Roman Rite liturgical solemnity celebrating the real presence of the body and blood of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, in the Eucharist, known as the Transubstantiation. 2 months earlier, the Eucharist is observed on Holy Thursday in a somber atmosphere leading to Good Friday. Corpus Christi emphasizes the joy of the Eucharist being the body and blood of Jesus Christ. The feast is liturgically celebrated on the Thursday after Trinity Sunday, where the solemnity of the most holy body and blood of Christ is not a holy day of obligation. It is assigned to the Sunday after the most holy Trinity as its proper day. At the end of the Holy Mass, there is often a procession of the Blessed Sacrament, generally displayed in a monstrance. That's that horn-like thing with the like halo of star. I'll show you one. Oh, well, you know what? You guys can look it up. Monstrance. Monstrance. The procession is followed by the benediction of the Blessed Sacrament. A notable Eucharistic procession is that presided over by the Pope each year in Rome, where it begins at the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran and passes to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, where it concludes with the benediction of the Blessed Sacrament. The celebration of the feast was suppressed in Protestant churches during the Reformation because they did not want to hold the teachings of the transubstantiation. Depending on the denomination or sect of church, Protestant churches instead believe in differing views concerning the presence of Christ in the Eucharist, or that Christ is symbolically or metaphorically part of the Eucharist. Today, most Protestant denominations do not recognize the feast at all. The Church of England abolished it in the year 1548, as the English Reformation progressed, but later they reintroduced it. So it would sound like today it is only celebrated in Lutheran, Anglican, Catholic, and the Church of England, not Protestant. That's Corpus Christi. And that might be all we have to talk about, since I started randomly talking about the full moon already. That would be that's later on in the week, and again on the 29th. So, going to the dice, I'm beginning with Stay in Bed. Of course, I'll do a moon reading, and I'll talk more about that and tell you everything I feel. But, you know, in short, I've already described the signs that would be involved, so we can just think from those terms. And the number 8, that it'll be about fortune. But I guess where there's winners, there's losers, right? You know, so it depends upon where one's karma lies, I would imagine. And the energy of death and rebirth, which the energy of death comes with a full moon anyway, endings. And then where there's an ending, just like where there's a winner, there's a loser. Where there's an ending, there is a new beginning, but even more so with the energy of Scorpio. Jupiter is retrograde in Scorpio. And again, you know, it's going to be sitting right there next to that star, right at in the heart of the Scorpion. So that energy should be very strong, I would imagine. And then we have, to the opposite, the energy of Taurus, the bull. So it's like we're not completely leaving that energy, because remember the last new moon was in Taurus. So now we're going into another moon phase where it's leaving Taurus, but Taurus is still in play in that regard as far as the moon is concerned. Also, we have Uranus there in Taurus, pushing us forward to be winners. Talked a lot about that last week. And then we have Sagittarius, this youthful, passionate, fiery energy. The energy of Cupid too, love. Maybe shooting the arrow right there into Scorpio, you know, big watery sign full of love and emotion. I think there'll be wins in all those areas. Love, finances, career. And, you know, losses to those who deserve it. But, you know, for those who've been waiting for their day, their, like, justice, major arcana card justice is number 8 also in the tarot. You know, they're just due. It's time. And I think they're going to be feeling the push. But like I said, again, I will not only review it, but meditate on it and see what else comes up, and do a full moon reading where I only talk about that. So the last die we're beginning with is No. Spirit says romantic dinner. Spend money. Not just on dinner, but any kind of ways you can nurture yourself. All of that is part of this Uranus with Taurus energy as well. And email. Speaking of Uranus, email. Electronic communication, the energy of Aquarius. And you know what, on that note, let me start with the Angel Tarot instead, because I see the King of Air staring me in my face, and he may be an Aquarius, or he representative of Uranus, or Mercury, which enters Gemini during this period. Brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic is the King of Air. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice and balance mental and emotional considerations. Opening to the 6 of Earth. Here goes Venus, also the energy of Taurus, Gemini again, and Libra as well. I just talked about Libra and the just due that we'll be getting. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. Told ya. Just as I said that, I dropped some of the cards. Guess what I picked up on top? Major Arcana card number 8, Justice with Archangel Raguel. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Here's the King of Air that had been on top. So I'm going to put these back behind him. But that was the Justice card wanting to jump out. It's like, wait, don't just talk about it, be about it. King of Air. Not one of my favorites, as y'all know. Those of you who watch me with any regularity. The 5 of Water, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in the situation, and crying over spilled milk. This is the energy of being obnoxious and ungrateful, and, you know, failing to count your blessings, and oh, woe is me. King of Air. That's better. The Ace of Water, falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Awesome. With the King of Air opposite the Ace of Water, that can also be speaking to Venus, which is in Cancer right now. Venus can be the King of Air too. On that note, the happy energy of the Ace of Water, I'm just going to go ahead and cut. And it's the Knight of Water. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative is the Knight of Water. They're also a Cancer, possibly, a Pisces, or a Scorpio, or anybody likened to those traits or attributes, right? You're falling in love with or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and maybe even an invitation to a social event, or perhaps that romantic dinner that turned up in the dice. Overall energy this week is the 7 of fire. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. 7 of fire is this energy of like, you know, refusal to give up, powering forward like a warrior. I see the 9 of fire as, you know, the true warrior spirit. Like, I'm down, but I'm not out, you know, and when you get back up and put the paint on your face, the war paint, and tie the scarf around your head, you know, like in all those movies, there's always where the guy's like on his last leg, and that's when he's like, okay, now I'm serious, you know, and I'm really going to go after these guys. That's like the 9 to me. But this is leading up to that, you know. This is, I'm not going to let anybody trounce on me, and I'm fighting back, and I'm going to defend myself. But sometimes you might just walk away, right? Choose your battles wisely. Oh, did you see that? Card jumped out. Maybe it's maybe it's Libra again. Major Arcana card 8. I'm kidding, but that just jumped out by itself. So I'm going to let it be where it wants to be. Crowning the masculine this week, the King of Fire, who's motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or maybe even a Scorpio, both of which are ruled by Mars. Mars, which is in Aquarius, by the way, could be another reason why email turned up. King of Fire, also a representation of the divine masculine in general in the tarot. Surrounding him this week, the Queen of Earth, who is thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. She's also a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, where Pluto and Saturn are retrograde in Capricorn. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. The Queen of Earth, as well as the King of Fire. This could be the masculine's energy. Both of them may be. This could be him being very aggressive and a go-getter, you know, a leader, following his passions, you know, hot pursuit. The Queen of Earth can be him being, you know, somewhat nurturing too of himself and maybe those around him, and trying to be a little bit more fair and compassionate and, you know, considerate of other people's feelings. It can be him being, you know, his mind on his money on his mind. It can be another person, right? It can be more than one, but it can be somebody that's helpful, somebody that's impactful upon the masculine this week. This fire energy or this earth energy, both have a strong potential to be representing actual people though. You know, if not the masculine, someone else, because they are court cards. And court cards tend to represent an actual person in your life, like a real character. In the masculine's subconscious, it's the Tower, which represents the sign of Scorpio for me, or tends to at least. Can be about an actual home, like that Ace of Water that showed up here. It said maybe even a new home. This could be what's on his mind. Maybe that's what he needs the money for, the finances, and he's going after what he wants. It can be any kind of structure, not necessarily a home. Like the Tower can represent an actual tower in that it's a building, a structure, a home, something like that. Where that is not the case, it's a powerful revelation that leads to change. And it's time to spread your wings. A significant life event. Whatever it is with the Tower, it's something that sort of turns your life upside down, sweeps you off your feet. It's not necessarily bad. You know, sometimes it's awesome. But it's just, it's something that unexpected that comes through very quickly. And, you know, sometimes even when it's good, which I think is most often, if you ask me. Like, a lot of people are scared of the Tower and they say it's the worst card in the tarot and stuff. To me, that's ridiculous. And I think it has the potential to be one of the best, because I think most often it's something good that's happening with the Tower. With the exception of the fact that, like, it's the universe having to step in because we didn't do what we were supposed to do, and it's fast and it's unexpected. And that's what makes it negative or scary to some. It's fear of change in general, and especially sudden change. Like, I don't even have time to get used to this. All of a sudden, boom, I'm no longer doing this, I'm doing that. You know, all of a sudden I no longer feel this way, I feel that way, because something happened to change everything in a blink of an eye. So that's what's scary to me, you know, if anything, about the Tower. Otherwise, you know, when the universe does these things, when it steps into our lives to take action where we didn't, even if we can't see it in that instance, I think it pretty much always turns out to be good, like for our betterment, whatever transpires. So that's how I read the Tower. And I think having that positive mindset, even about things like the Tower, you know, it's elementary. That's what the law of attraction is all about, these positive thoughts. And you bring in, you know, maybe if you think about the Tower being scary and horrible or whatever, then maybe it is for you. It's not that way for me. And for whom, you know, I read, because it's not that way in my readings. For the most part, the Tower turns out to be something good, like I said. Anyway, moving on to the feminine, crowning her this week, the Four of Water. So this is kind of like expecting something shitty, you know what I mean? And it's mirroring this Tower. So maybe it's connected. Because again, I said the Tower tends to represent the sign of Scorpio for me. And here we have a water element card, the Four of Water, mirroring it. Missing an opportunity, discontentment or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. So this is an expectation often of, you know, yeah, shitty life and nothing happening in your life, shitty occurrences, nothing going your way. And so you're not expecting anything. So you're like focused on, you know, something that's unimportant. Your priorities out of order, out of whack, and, you know, you're just melancholy, and therefore you're missing the blessing. So it's similar to the Five in that sense. There's a need to pay attention to what's going on around you, be a little bit more observant and appreciative, and, you know, noticing the small things and, you know, being thankful even for them. And then you won't miss out on your big opportunity. Surrounding the feminine this week, strength, major arcana card, strength. Number 11, great inner strength, release harsh judgments, instead exercise some forgiveness and compassion. And look what it mirrors, the masculine's Queen of Earth, which is also about compassion, right? Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. That's describing compassion. The strength, however, is of the fire element. It represents the sign of Leo, or perhaps another fire sign, but directly Leo. In the feminine subconscious, the Two of Water. Very nice. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. We have another 8 here. 2, 4 plus 4 is 8. Or 2 11 11s, however you want to look at it. Two of Water mirroring life experience, the Tower. Something, you know, unexpected could come sweeping in as it relates to a partnership. Crowning, the Page of Fire. So here's that Sagittarius energy creeping up on us yet again. Outgoing, creative, confident, and mischievous is the Page of Fire. And again, for me, tends to be most often a Sagittarius, but can also be a Leo, an Aries, or even a Scorpio. With, again, Aries and Scorpio both being ruled by Mars. This can be representative of the planet Jupiter. It can be representative of Mars. It can be representative of Leo, all of these things. And we have all the fixed signs here too present that that Jupiter energy can be attached to. We're missing the Aquarius, but we've seen that. Aquarius was one of the fixed signs. Then Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo. So maybe there's something going on there too. At the root. Oh, speak of the, not devil. Speak of the Aquarius. It's the Knight of Air, who's intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. So yeah, this is all this energy of Jupiter coming out at us now. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. Not just Jupiter, also the Sagittarius moon. The Knight of Air, again, is an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini, or someone like unto these traits or attributes. who sort of just takes off running without, it says to, take time to come up with, options. But, realistically and honestly, as a Knight of Air myself, that's not what the Knight of Air does. We pretty much just take off and, off to save the day. We don't sit down and plan first. When the Knight of Air shows up, though, there could be a need to make a decision, and quickly, which would fit with the Tower. Again, the Tower comes in quickly too. So it could be you're presented with something. You want to do this? You want to go out to dinner? And you could be completely unexpected, because maybe you haven't spoken to this guy in a year. All of a sudden, he's here asking you if you want to go out to dinner. I'm just using that example from the dice, and you got to decide fast too. I'm only in town for 2 hours. Meet me at the airport. That sort of thing. And then you got to decide, do I want to jump into this partnership like the Knight of Air style? Or do I want to sit around and think about it first and maybe plan like the Knight of Earth and maybe miss the opportunity? Could be something like that. Easily something like that. At the heart of the matter, the Two of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. So this is another indication of partnership, of course. And I'd say for a good bit of us, at least in the feminine's mind, it is of the romantic nature. Although this is a general reading, and sitting here next to the Queen of Earth in particular can certainly be about business, finance. We're entering some sort of maybe career. Some jobs are by contract. You're signing a contract for employment or something like that. All of those can be applicable there. Let's further clarify to see if we can get a better idea of what everything is representing here. Something just fell out. What is it? Three of Air just leapt onto my floor. Cards are just jumping around like Mexican beans here today. Three of Air jumped out of the deck and landed on the floor. I had to take... all right. I'm going to stick it in here arbitrarily. You know where it just went in? In front of the Six of Air. So somebody's travel plans or something this week may not go completely as they wanted. I'm beginning with another Two of Spring. How cool is that? Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors, or expand the number of people who are helping you. Opening to the wheel, here goes this Jupiter again. Expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress. Major Arcana card, the wheel, for me, represents the planet Jupiter and the sign of Sagittarius, which it rules. But not only that, also the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. Two of Spring. And the Four of Winter. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Told you there was a decision for some of us. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers that you seek. So I'll be meditating and praying on this partnership, opposite the partnership. That's what we're talking about. This could be representative of some fear of entering it, or low self-esteem, low confidence in entering this partnership, or worry that someone's going to, or something is going to take it from you or ruin it for you. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions, as well as what others might be doing behind your back. That could be related to some phony partners, fake friends, frenemies, These people that are supposed to be your bestie, and really, they don't want to see you happy. Opening to the Princess of Summer. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced is the Princess of Summer. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. The Princess of Summer represents, for me, first and foremost, the sign of Pisces. It can also be a Cancer, Scorpio, or anybody likened to these traits or attributes. And it's an offer of love as it relates to a partnership here. An offer that makes you feel love or feel loved. All right, it makes you emotionally happy, joyous. Two of Spring. One more. And it's the Three of Summer. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love, like your partner. Two of Spring. I have a partnership with another Gemini, and I said to them today, like, we have to come up with, or I think we should come up with like a dedicated day, at least one, where, we talk or whatever and go over whatever we have to go over. Because with us both being Geminis, we're both like potentially detached, and it doesn't mean that we dislike one another or we didn't think about one another or whatever. It's just the Gemini way, to continue about your business. And but by the time you get around to it and you look up, you think about your friend and it's too late to call them or whatever. And you're like, okay, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And they're like, you just don't. It's because of all of our swords and stuff. We're just not emotional people, so we don't think about it the same way. They at least have a Scorpio moon. So I said, well, but Scorpios withdraw and go to, into themselves too. Because I was like, I'm a double air sign. So it's we have to commit to, we got to work on this partnership, right? We got to commit to handling our business together. So that can be, that sort of thing can be coming up for others too. In like the strength to follow up even, especially if this is the energy you're walking around with. And if it's most specifically, if it's like Gemini energy, we're really caring people, particularly about like humanity at large. We don't necessarily like individuals, but definitely humanity at large. Caring, generous, friend to the end, We got to really be done with you to walk away. Like done. Completely beyond repair. Otherwise, we're still trying, like to the end, we still got you. But we're just, other than that, we're like so removed. I don't know, it's hard to describe. But my point in saying all this is about the effort that we have to put into these partnerships, whether they are friendships or business or romantic. Or we could end up like this, and maybe we don't want to. Single. Your success has brought you financial security and reward of much deserved time off. Enjoy your own company. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or self-employment opportunity that will be very successful. So the Nine of Autumn can relate to couples too. I mean, it can relate to, it can be a card of that represents a single, but it can be about couples too. And just like it is about a single, it means that you're like flourishing, and it's a very positive card as it relates to finances and you just feeling secure, at least having enough to be able to show yourself some nurturing and spend time getting to know you and like you and love you, So similarly for a couple, it means that, we're going to be able to go a distance as well. You know, we've got some worth and some value and a real foundation here that we're standing upon. But yeah, other than that, it is the card about the need to get to better know yourself so that you can do the same with others. And opening to the Ace of Spring, a wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. And I'm not sure even why I opened up the cards again, but the Ace of Spring, I think, wanted to show up here because we do have all this fire energy again with Mars in Aquarius, with Jupiter all around, with the Sagittarius moon, and with the energy of Leo, which again is also attached to Jupiter. Oh, and the true node. I read about the true node today, a transit. What was transiting through? I've forgotten already, but in the beginning of the reading, I mentioned something in the celestial part. There's something, some sort of transit with Leo this week. Overall energy is the Queen of Autumn. Thoughtful, caring, creative, ingenious is the Queen of Autumn. Again, she's a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or somebody likened to those traits or attributes. You will be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. So didn't I just go through a whole spiel in that regard as it related to the Tower? Only on the positive. Atop the King of Fire, the Star. This is Mars in Aquarius. Boom. King of Fire, Mars, the Star, represents the planet Uranus and the sign of Aquarius in the Tarot. Major Arcana card number 17. It is yet another 8 for us as well. You are about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism, fear with hope, and joy is coming home to roost. Oh, I love that for you, masculine. Awesome. Atop the Queen of Earth, the Magician. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. I think this represents Uranus in Taurus for us. The Magician tends to represent the sign of Gemini for me. But it can be another air sign, or it can be another of the mutable signs, I would say. Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius. Atop the Tower, which I said represents the sign of Scorpio for me, it's the King of Water, who very well could be a Scorpio, as well as a Pisces or a Cancer, of course. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. This is what also a possibility, very good possibility of one of those awesome towers that I was talking about. Getting swept off your feet by love, by like Mr. Romantic. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. Masculine, this could be you. This could be your energy, or it might be you who is swept off your feet unexpectedly by someone showing you, immense love and, generosity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but again, I think for a good bit of us, it absolutely is, with the two of fire crossing this King of Summer in this tower, and the two of water crossing that two of fire. Also, we know it's positive. We know it's something that you want. We know it's something that brings you emotional joy, even if you're not a water sign. How do we know? Because you manifested this with the Magician sitting here atop you. And Atop that, again, the star. The star is about dreams coming true, wishes being granted, prayers being answered. It's also about electronic communication as far as I'm concerned. Again, email, but maybe online dating or something. You know, all of a sudden you meet somebody that you really dig online or something like that. Telepathic communication, although I think this is more than that. I think this is something that really, you know, with the energy of the tower, that really shakes you up. But I guess telepathy could shake somebody up too if they're not used to it. So maybe it is that. Here atop the 4 of water, the 8 of winter. We're imprisoned by our own mediocrity, feminine, our own melancholy, our own, you know, we're just like stuck here. We got to release this energy. If you don't want to be here, you got to free yourself from here. See, the door is open and the bird can leave, but he's still in there. And the other 3 are like, what's wrong with him? Because they're chilling up here. They don't know what's going on with him, but he's not stuck, and neither are you. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you a greater sense of self-confidence if you first affirm your freedom. Atop strength, it's another 11. Right? 11, major arcana card 11 for strength, and major arcana card 20 equals 11 on renewal or judgment, which also represents the sign of Scorpio, the planet Pluto for me, Scorpio's other ruler. Judgment can be about an actual judgment, although I don't think it's necessarily that. I mean, justice, rather, which represents the sign of Libra, did jump out before. I don't see any other evidence that there's maybe a legal situation and an actual judgment, but it can be. Maybe that's what the strength is needed for. It can just be, you know, a metaphorical judgment too. Like well, as it relates to relationships, which it sits next to, first of all, it's an 11 or a 2, which can mean partnership. It sits next to the 2 of fire and atop the 2 of water. So it can definitely be about a relationship, business, personal, or romantic, you know, friendship or romantic. And in that regard, it's like having come to a crossroad and a place where we have to decide, like, where do we go from here? That might be what the decision is. Remember, the Knight of Air can represent a decision that needs to be made. That can be what the decision is. What are we doing? You know, where do we go from here, if anywhere? Are we done? Do we not go anywhere? Then bye. Like, or are we moving forward? As it relates to career and stuff, which it could also be sitting here mirroring the Queen of Autumn, and with the Queen of Autumn also being our overall energy from the other deck, we could be waiting for some recognition or something from our boss. We can also get recognition from the universe. And when and where we do, that tends to also manifest itself here. So if we go through ascension and we're powered up and we're leveled up, and essentially we get a promotion, right? In church, they talk about promotion all the time too, promotion, raise. When we get that, it tends to manifest somehow here in a tangible sense too. You know, we'll say, oh, I got a raise at work too, you know, that sort of thing. So this could be, I'm waiting for that to finally manifest. Here, we're sort of down and out, like we're not expecting it, although we're due it. We're like, you know, we got to think more positive, because this is the prison of your own mind and you causing delay to your own blessing, basically, with this. That's why you need the strength to continue to get through, you know, while you're waiting. But you could have it. You could manifest it with positive thoughts instead. Other than that, which also I would think would apply mostly to the feminine here, looking at the cards, it can be about being overly judgmental, you know, about, you know, yourself or other people. But that fits with this 4 of water, sort of, you know, down and out kind of energy, and that causes you to miss out on other things, other blessings. Atop the 2 of water, the Prince of Autumn, trustworthy. Did I joke about the Prince of Autumn a little while ago? I compared him to the Prince of Winter, or the Knight of Swords. This is the Knight of Earth, Knight of Pentacles. Trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny is the Prince of Autumn. It's important to make a detailed plan. Yes, I definitely joked about him. Before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action steps and get as much accomplished as possible. The Prince of Autumn is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or anybody like him to these traits or attributes, and can be, you know, half of this Two of Water, or this can just represent any zodiac sign. Doesn't have to be an earth sign. Anybody can be taking on this energy and trying to plan going into their partnership, similar to that little story I just went off on a tangent and told you about. You know, the partnership that I got into with another Gemini, and I had to make a plan, you know, to actively engage and handle my business. So that can be done, not just in that type of, in any kind of partnership that can be done. Crowning here. Oh, remember one jumped on the floor a second ago? It wasn't this one. It was the one from this deck. But here's the Three of Winter sitting here atop the Page of Fire. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. We have this Three of Winter crossing the Strength card. So again, I think that it's, for some of us, just the strength is to make it through until we're able to manifest what it is we're due. But we got to let go of this energy in order for that to happen. It sits next to the Seven of Winter too, right? Oh, the Eight of Winter. So that being trapped sits next to this. Together, these two are an 11, this 8 and this 3. So we could turn this even into a positive, because we have the power to do that. Again, this is like a manifestation of your own mind. So you can release this, turn this whole thing around into a positive, and then, you know, this won't be delayed. You won't be struggling to get past this energy. You won't be worried about your relationship, your partnership. You won't be worried about how, like, beating yourself up, you know, that you're lowly and whatever. You won't be beating somebody else up and downing somebody else and being overly judgmental about them. You won't be awaiting your blessings, because you'll be in a positive space and you can actually manifest them. And maybe that's why you need to take the time to, like, plan it out and write some things down. Be aware when you're writing those things down, you're aware of this mindset, and that can help you to let it go. At the root, atop the Knight of Air, it's another King of Spring. So this is, again, this energy of Mars in Aquarius. Inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise is the King of Spring. Now's your moment to step up to a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused upon the big picture. This can also be that energy that we talked about with the two stars that are opposing one another, with Sagittarius and Gemini. Although the King of Spring doesn't come across really as a Sagittarius to me. I mean, it absolutely can be. But the page more so does. But it can be that energy too. So there's a need to make a decision, and there's a need, as a move, to take a leadership role. That can be what the decision is about. And at the heart of the matter, atop the Two of Fire, the Chariot. Major Arcana card number 7, the Chariot, which is a card of victory. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies all at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards. Remember I told you what judgment was about? Abundance that is earned. We're awaiting accolades. We're awaiting rewards, promotion, raise, elevation. You've earned it. Nobody's doing you a favor. So you need to, you know, own it. You've earned it. Own it now. You've earned the rewards and the recognition that you are receiving. Again, the 7, Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot, represents the sign of Cancer, and it is a card of victory. So it could be victory for this partnership. Maybe a third energy doesn't do as well as part of the group. They must go. That may have to do with a friendship or a romantic partnership. Could be a love triangle. Maybe a Sagittarius walks away, or a Sagittarius remains in a situation, in a partnership, and the other an air sign walks away, or an air sign remains specifically. Or I mean, it can be anybody, but definitely in this spread, there are some signs more so than others that can expect to feel this energy this week. And I will quickly go over them again. Well, now it's any of the fire signs, with the king showing up here. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, and again, possibly even Scorpio. Any of the air signs, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Well, we might have all of them here now. I think we have all the elements here now. I don't have to go through this. The Prince of Autumn represents all of the earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. And the King of Water, lastly but not least, the king of all the water elements, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Yep, that was all of them. So let's do the advice. But we still do have more so that Scorpio, he's got 2 major arcanas here, renewal and, judgment and the Tower. Strength, Leo, so specifically of the fire signs. The Chariot, Cancer. The Magician, Gemini. The Star, Aquarius. These are my abundance cards. I guess I wasn't meant to shuffle them before you, but I just laid them already. And I also wanted to pull a surrender card for each archetype, masculine and feminine, this week. Beginning with surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that you go through that guide you, like the one I had before this reading with the Sagittarius full moon. And open to surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what you should do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Surrender to your intuition and surrender your desire to control people. Being overly controlling can sabotage relationships. Okay, that's what we got here, potentially too. With this judgment and strength and the 3 of winter, it could be a sabotaging of a relationship because we're being judgmental, we're imposing upon another person, right, trying to control them essentially. It sits underneath that card of control too, the 8 of winter, the being trapped. All right, so being overly controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Surrender to your intuition. I'll just cut these. Surrender to setting limits. It's healthy to set boundaries in your relationships. Practice expressing your needs and remember that no is a complete sentence. So what should the masculine ultimately surrender this week? Surrender to creativity. And all these fire cards that you got here, the King of Spring that sits here, another one sits there. Fire cards, the fire element, it is about creativity and one's passions and pursuing them. So that aligns very well for you. Let your imagination soar. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or to solve a problem. For the feminine, what can we surrender this week? Surrender your attachment to results. Here, there's an attachment to negative results that we certainly need to surrender so that we can have good ones instead. The formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen. Then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Okay, next thing you know, 3 of winter. We don't want that. From the abundance oracle to the masculine, no more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. Feminine, what abundance comes for us this week? A windfall of abundance. Very nice. An increase, which can certainly come with judgment. An increase in abundance is arriving in many different forms, some of them unexpected. Be open to receiving and know that this abundance comes to you to support your life purpose, health, and charitable work. From the angel tarot to the masculine, it's judgment yet again, or renewal, whatever you want to call it. Major Arcana card 20. They got one just like us. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. Again, judgment rather, is about abundance earned. You are being elevated, promoted, raised up. You might be due one here on this plane. Do some sort of accolade, recognition, promotion, graduation. It is coming to you. You will get it. As it relates to relationships, any kind of partnership, friendship, familial, romantic. You have come to a place where it's time to decide, what are we doing? Do we continue or are we done? Or do we need to make an adjustment? And you got to decide which of those is applicable to you. Other than that, don't be so hard on yourself or anybody else. Karma is real, so we don't want to be judgmental about other people. From the angel tarot to the feminine, it's the page of air, which represents the sign of Gemini for me, but of course can be another air sign too, Libra, Aquarius, or anybody likened to these traits or attributes. It doesn't have to be an air sign at all. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious is the page of air. Challenging information, delays, which I described already, or changes to plans. Here's the planner down here that needs to help you to get things in order once you throw them off course with your funky energy. Truth delivered without tact, like I just did. Oh, for the masculine, more evidence of the decision you have to make. But the current placement for you, the current action for you is non-action. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making this decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. If you're thinking, masculine, about making some, huge leap forward as it relates to love and, romance maybe, or something that's going to bring you emotional joy, but there's like a fear or whatever, and you tell a friend and they say, nah, don't do that. But that's what you feel you want to do. Do it. As a matter of fact, don't tell a friend. Just do it. That's what this is saying. And for us, from the animal tarot as well. It's another Prince of Spring, Knight of Wands. Passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless is the Prince of Spring. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important. Yet, There's nothing you can't handle if you follow your inner guidance. And we were just told somewhere else to make sure that we follow it. So let's do that. I hope that you guys enjoy the weekly reading. I'll be back with the love rather, and the moon. Feminine, we have a Knight of Wands to expect. Knight of Wands, of course, again, to wrap up, can represent the planet Jupiter. Right? That can be this sudden, wonderful thing that comes our way and brings the energy of Sagittarius and the Sagittarius full moon with it. Namaste, angels.